Can we make this pickle jar look like milk glass? We're going to try. Hey, everybody, it's Colette with Blessings Craft Therapy, if you didn't know. And if you did, thank you so much for coming back. Now, check this out. I went tag selling this weekend, and look at this milk glass I got free. I was freaking out. So it inspired me to make, to try, to make milk glass. Listen, friends, I'm just going to tell you right now, this was the project that had me, I'm using a Posca marker. You could use one of those chalk markers. All I'm doing is making a pattern, and it's just little dots. I was trying to be somewhat consistent, and I would just try to do a dot in between each of the dots and go all the way around. And then the next row, I would put a dot in between where the top row is, if that makes any sense. Do it for the full jar. Again, the marker is just for the pattern. You don't have to do this part. I did the same thing. I made a pattern on the lid, and then we're going to use our hot glue gun. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, make sure you've got some patience, because this project had me, I had to walk away a couple times. Anyways, so I take my hot glue gun and I'm just going over that pattern we made. So I just do a little bit of hot glue, and you'll see me kind of swirl my hot glue gun. And that is because we want to make sure that it doesn't leave big strings. It still did. You're still going to get strings, but it limits the amount. And it makes it so that you have a nice circle. Now, again, when I'm doing this, I was going like slow, because if you go too fast and your dot is too thick, it'll kind of smear. You're going to do that the entire jar. And then I did the same thing on the lid. I got to be honest, I think that it looks really cool with just like this. I should have left it, but whatever. So then I take my white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm using a makeup brush, and I'm swirling it all over the jar. You saw earlier I had little tweezers and I was trying to get all the strings. If you do it this way with the swirling of the brush, it gets those little strings off, and it paints all of the little dots. I know. Then I did the same paint with a dauber, and I just went over the whole jar just because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any brush strokes. Again, totally up to you, though. If you don't want to do that part, don't do that part. And I went all the way up to the rim of the jar. And again, don't do the dauber if you don't want to. There we go. And I always leave the bottom of my jar for last, so that way I can use it to stabilize, to put the jar down, and then I paint it on the top of that. And I did the same thing for the lid, swirly swirl, and then I used my dauber, and I feel like the dauber also makes it so that the paint covers better and it doesn't smear, but that's just my opinion. Again, use it if you want. So there's that. Let it dry. Then once it's dry, I added some hot glue to the top, and I added our little knob that I told you about earlier. Ta-da! And then once all of this was dry, I added a coat of dishwasher safe Mod Podge because I wanted it to be shiny. And here it is. Like, okay. Is it okay? I suppose so. For the amount of effort, I'll be honest with you, I made it into something else. So stay tuned. For my children saw this project and they were like, Mom, you've got to make this. And so I made it into something else. But for now, this is okay. I'm not totally mad, but I'm not totally happy either. It's okay, though. It was an experiment. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this inspires you.